And here we go. Ed, the bed. I'm on it, and that's the name of this podcast. Yes, episode 10. Here we go. Um, let's go ahead and get into the intro song. Intro song for this one, Ray Sherman, Throw Some Mo, featuring Nicki Minaj and Young Thug. Great song. Kind of plays in my head from time to time, especially in scenarios here where y'all know the circuit I run in and the people that I usually come across for the most part. And like I mentioned, scenarios where I'll meet girls that are all about, buy me drinks, or hook it up with this or hook it up with that. And it becomes very it becomes very like the song where it's just a girl in the song, Nicki Minaj, trying to convince the guys to just keep spending on me, keep spending. Like I said, that's not everyone. I'm not saying everyone's like that, but for the most part, the circles I run in and what I see, it's commonplace. Um, it's also a very strip song, theme song, I guess. Um, because of the topic, and if you watch the video, it's basically the same thing. You'll see that it's like a kind of strip club kind of theme song. But like I think when I think of it, and I got plenty of stories about strippers and strip clubs and everything. Um, but let me get into this first, because this, excuse me, kind of goes with the topic, but it also somewhat annoys me, and I know a lot of girls that do this, and it needs to stop. And that is pole dance classes. Yes, pole dance classes need to stop. I've had enough of it. Um, it's if you've ever gone to strip clubs, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I've gone to a lot of strip clubs. Yeah, girls might use the stripper pole, but they don't use it as exaggerated and as flimsy as people in these pole dance classes do. Like, basically, it's not a pole dance class. Uh, and you can't, and like, was the concept was that one day some woman thought, man, how do strippers stay in shape? Oh, I get it. They probably climb that stripper pole, and that stripper pole gives them, a lot of exercise or whatever. Like, was that the theory behind it, and then thus they became these pole dance classes? Because there's basically only three moves these girls do, and one is like you kind of run up to the pole, and then you hold on to it, and then you're kind of kneeling, but while holding on to it, so you're slowly like spinning around, descending while kneeling. I'm not sure if I'm describing it correctly. The other one is what, like, you kind of like climb up all the way on top of the stripper pole, and then you kind of flip yourself upside down, and then you slide down slowly. And then the third is like kind of like the same thing, but instead you're right side up doing it this time. Like, those are basically the three moves you do on a stripper pole. And yet there's these classes where they're doing all these exaggerated flips and like it's basically aerobics what you're doing in this class. It ain't pole dance class. This is aerobics on a metal pole. And I think that needs to differentiate, because There's a lot of women that say, "Ooh, but pole dance, it's seductive and all." No, no. The pole dance class and the moves you do on it aren't seductive at all. The reason it's seductive in the first place because it takes place in a strip club with strippers who are naked. Let me clarify that once again. I want to make sure the microphone's working there. The reason it's sexy is because it's at a strip club and it's a stripper who's naked doing it. Not a bunch of girls in their fitness clothes holding on for dear life onto a pole, maybe breaking their head. No. Said just don't do it. Don't do it. There's plenty of great other exercises you can do. Spinning, you could do that Bikram yoga, that hot yoga. There's so much you can do. There's so much you could do. But this is just stop it with this. Stop it with this. I love me my strip clubs. I love me my strippers. I don't need everyone thinking, "Oh, I'm doing pole dance class, so I'm like a stripper in my own sense." No, you're not. No, you're not. I'm sorry. And I know I have a lot of friends that do this pole dancing classes. I know a lot of girls that do a lot of pole dancing classes. Sorry. This is the way I think, and you just got to get out of this. Just my own opinion. Just there's no need to just no. No, 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 no. No. Oh, I thought about doing these pole dances class because I want to spice up my love life, and it'll do wonders for our relation. No, it won't. No, it will not. If you need to spice up your love life, that means there's something wrong with your relationship in the first place. So you got to get out of that relationship and move on to the next one. There's no spicing up. The relationship's either always spicy or it ain't. Just spicing it up changes the game, and it's never good. Quote me on that. I want you to write a t-shirt, and I want you to put those words on the t-shirt and walk around with it, just so you fucking remember what I just said. There's no spicing up a love life. It's either spiced up or it's a no-go. So move on. I would do a mic drop, but I don't want to drop this mic. So just imagine me dropping the mic. There you go. So yeah. Hopefully I changed a fad from continuing to happen. You're welcome. But yeah, one of the things that and I've heard of girls hurt themselves, they injure their certain leg muscles or their arm muscles, because you're doing these stretches and these poses in such an unbalanced way that it's not natural. And not only that, but you're sliding up and down this pole. You got to keep cleaning that pole. If you're not cleaning that pole, who knows what you're getting. Just it's not worth the hassle. There's plenty of other exercises you can do that'll just be much better off for you. Trust me on this. All right. But yeah, like I mentioned, I am a big fan of strip clubs and strippers and stuff. I got plenty of stripper stories. I'll go into them. But the reason I love strip clubs, and I'm talking a good American strip club, and you can go out there with the boys, and girls, but you can go out with there with the crew, sit down, have a couple drinks. If there's a game on, y'all can all watch the game. And there's just the beauty that is the beauty that is a woman naked walking around the club. Like, what more could you ask for? Like, it's awesome. You have to do not bash it until you've been to one. And I know there's all kinds. I've seen shady ones, I've seen ghetto ones, and I've seen really expensive strip clubs. But for the most part, it's the same vibe, same good energy. Everyone's having fun. You're listening to sometimes strip club DJs play some awesome music, and it's a great place to just meet up with friends and have fun and joke around and like I find it as adult, and I know it's called that, but adult entertainment, and it's great. Um, and it'd be great if everyone would have that mentality of it. Well, and I'll go into it later on, and I'm very disappointed that right now here living in Buenos Aires that the strip club scene isn't what it should be. But I'll get into that later. I don't want to lose my train of thought when it comes to strip clubs and strippers and everything. I've dated strippers. I've gone out with strippers. And in that scenario, you can't just stereotype all strippers of being the same. But I still do. There's three things that strippers are that I've noticed most strippers that I've met and that I've gone out with. There's three things strippers love. One is money. Two is partying. Three is drugs. Which sounds like, Eddie, what the fuck are you talking about? That's basically anybody. And I agree. But I know I could go to a strip club and be like, hey, I'm going to this party later on. Do you want to come check it out? It's VIP. It's blah, blah, blah. Bam. That's it. That's how I'd get them to hang. I got them to hang out. Or, hey, we got my boy, he's got this going on. You should come check it out. We'll all get high, whatever the case may be. And that's another way. And that would work. And like again, I was much younger at this time, but it was very interesting to have certain just and I don't want to say lines, but it was certain categories I could just bring up, and I know it would make a conversation happen, and it would make a date possible. And yeah, like I said, I dated a lot of strippers. I've gone out with some of the most attractive girl that I've been with was a stripper, and I'll go into this story. I was living in Key West, and it was a day where I had just raged the night before. I got drunk off my ass. I don't know. I don't even remember the night before. I just remember I just got really drunk, and I partied my ass off. And I had to go to work the next day. I had only slept 2 hours. I was hungover as fuck. On so much ibuprofen and whatever I had around, just to get through the day. And I get off of work, and usually when I get off of work, I'd go straight to go meet up with at this time with my girlfriend at the time, which was my baby mama, Joanna. And So I'd go ahead, I'd go meet up with her at her job, and then we would go home together. So this day I go ahead, same routine, get off of work, head over to her job to go pick her up, and when I do, she tells me it's her friend Isa's birthday, and that we should all go um, to go celebrate her birthday. That right now everyone after work was gonna go meet up at her place, have some drinks, and then from there hit up the clubs or whatever. I was just really tired. Oh, and I could go a little bit later on some Isa story as well, but I'll leave that later. I'm not even sure nowadays, and I gotta apologize because I might be repeating some stories, and if I do so, I do apologize. I gotta go back and listen to some of the other episodes and see what the fuck I'm saying, but um, I I'm there with I'm there with Joanna, and I tell her, look, I'm really tired. I think I'm just gonna go home. Um, I need to sleep. I need to sleep. I'm just too tired. Uh, is that all right? I hope you don't mind. And I could tell she wanted me, like she was fine with that, but I could tell she really wanted me to go. Like she just kept asking me, like, come on, come on, come on, and I just kept saying no. So, while I was heading home by myself, midway through, I just kind of felt bad, and so I went to the closest liquor store I found. I bought a bottle of Sky vodka, which I knew Isa loved Sky vodka, and I went to Isa's house and kind of surprised her and my ex by showing up. 'Cause when you're in love, and you don't want to disappoint the other person. And so I went, bought a bottle, and it was nice. I mean, Joanna loved it, Isa loved it. We're there at the pre-party, and everyone's drinking and having fun, except for me, because now, now it's been now I've been up for like 16 hours without any sleep. Uh, with only 2 hours of sleep. My bad. Just zombie mode, hungover, not in the mood to drink while everyone else is drinking. And worse off, the party, let's say the party's like a whole bunch of Polish people. By a whole bunch, I don't mean a whole bunch. Let's say 8 Polish people and 1 Russian kid and myself. And other than the Russian kid and myself, everyone else is speaking Polish. And if you ever tried to speak Polish, it's one of the hardest languages around. I even lived in Poland for 2 years, and I've yet to manage anything. Like, all I could say is like, tak, rozumiesz i mówisz po polsku, ale bardzo małe, which basically is, yeah, I understand and speak Polish, but very little. So basically, I'm saying I don't understand Polish at all, because that's pretty much what I'm saying. And so everyone's speaking Polish. I'm stuck talking to the Russian dude, and the Russian dude, like everyone kind of knew him in town. Like he'd always show up to like parties and stuff like that. And I also knew him because he had a crush on my ex. So that was always kind of awkward, but I was never really threatened by the guy. I knew she wasn't into him, and like I didn't find him to be a threat. So it was always kind of awkward him being around, but I know it was just harmless. He was harmless. So he's there, and we're talking because he ain't talking Polish either, and we're just talking, but he's just so boring that I was hating life at this moment. and it was very little conversation. So it was basically me just looking at the watch, waiting for like time to fly. And then I realized, man, we're going to the club later on. My only thought was, all right, we'll probably be pre-partying for an hour. We'll probably go hit up, no, probably pre-partying for like 2-3 hours, eat, and then head out to a club. It's a weeknight and it's slow season in Key West, so the club's probably going to be empty. We'll probably be there for an hour or two, and I don't work the next day, so at least I'll be fine. I thought of it like that. So sure enough, we're there pre-partying, we eat, whatever, and then we start heading over to the club. And while we're heading over to the club, Joanna goes to me, why aren't you socializing with my friends? What's wrong with you? And I'm like, well, first of all, like I mentioned, I'm pretty tired. And second of all, I don't speak Polish. And all you people have been doing is speaking Polish. So how am I supposed to get into any of these conversations? And she was like, oh no, but you should at least attempt, or like say something. And mind you, I tried to throw in a few sentences, but they would just revert back to Polish. So what was the point? Like, I love giving my opinion. Love it. I love it so much. I have a podcast where I give my opinion. So why would I not give my opinion in any of these conversations? I love getting into conversations and listening to myself. So, but this was a scenario where it was just not possible. And she's getting mad at me for not knowing her language that they're all talking. And I could already tell, all right, well, I'm guessing she's a little tipsy, and I'm guessing not, she's not in the mood for, she cared she cared very much for what others thought. And I don't know if she thought I was just coming off as just like not social or antisocial, which is not me. So I don't know. I kind of blamed it on the alcohol at that moment, but whatevs. We get to the club, and like I said, it's a weeknight. It's kind of empty. There's some people in there. I'm not saying a lot, but at the most, there's probably 30 people. It's a place where it's like downstairs there's a bar and a rock bar, and then upstairs it's like a club kind of atmosphere. So we're upstairs. There's like around, let's say, 30 people. We all get in, and we're all standing there in the dance floor. We're all kind of dancing together, like in a big circle. And I'm like, all right, well, music. I'm even dancing. So we're there all dancing in a circle. And I'm like, all right, well, at least music's playing. Everyone's kind of enjoying themselves. I could probably, break the ice with my pissed off ex by just dancing with her. I'm sure this will smooth things over. And I could tell she was just giving me a face like, just keep your distance. And I'm like, all right. I know when to like take a hint. I'm just gonna back off a little bit. Not for some reason, whenever she's upset, I'll let her be upset. I'm sure things will cool off. Let me just step away. So I'm stepping away, kind of moving to like, I'm moving away, and all of a sudden this girl, this blonde chick, just comes up to me, like grabs my hand and starts taking me towards another part of the dance floor, and she's asking me, do I want to dance with her? And I go ahead, I stop her, and I tell her, thank you very much, I'm flattered, but no, I can't. I'm here with my girlfriend, and I want to dance with her. I hope you understand. And she's like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. And she walked away and went to go dance somewhere else. And my ex saw that. She comes up to me and she tells me, well, what was that? And I was like, some girl wanted to dance with me. And she goes, well, why didn't you dance with her? And I'm like, well, because I'm with you and I want to dance with you. I don't want to dance with her. and she again just got pissed off, and she's just like, if you want to dance with another girl, you can dance with another girl. And I'm like, that has nothing to do with that. I'm here basically because I wanted to spend time with you, and this is like, I don't know what's going on. And uh Joanna basically just whatevered me and just went back to her friends. So now everyone's sitting at a table, and I'm by the bar with the lame Russian dude, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm I'm just waiting to get home, go to sleep, and forget this day, right? All of a sudden, these two girls walk into the club, two Russian girls, and I could tell when you live in Key West, you'll be able to tell who's Russian, who's Ukrainian, who's from Belarus, who's from the Czech Republic, who's Slovakian, who's like you. When you live in Key West, there's a big Eastern European community, and you'll be able to figure out who's whom and where they're from just by their looks and how they're dressed and everything. It just happens. I don't know why, but you figure it out. And sure enough, these two girls walk in, obviously Russian, just drop dead gorgeous, like very attractive girls. Oh, and I'll kind of go into this real quick. There's three levels of attractiveness to me. There's you're cute, you're hot, or you're beautiful. And I'm not sure if I got into this one before, but I let me just if I have, I apologize, and I'll just go into it real quick just to kind of freshen up. Um, the three levels of attractiveness are cute, and if you're cute, like if I'm dating a girl that's cute, she's the kind of girl I can meet, I can introduce to my mom, and my mom's like, "Aw." She's the kind of girl that I can introduce to my friends that are females, and they'll be like, "Oh, we like her. She's good for you," and like they take her in, like they'll accept her, and she's the kind of cute girl that your guy friends will not like they'll be nice to her, but they won't make any like they won't bring you to the side like when she's not around and be like, "Hey man, so how's it like hooking up with her?" and stuff. Like no, they'll be like, "Hey, your girlfriend's pretty cool, man." It's one of those scenarios. So you that's when a girl's cute. Then there's hot. When a girl's hot, your mom will never meet her. Mom will never know who this girl is. She might hear her by name, but she ain't meeting hot girl. Your female friends will absolutely hate her. Well, they will fucking just tear her apart. So you gotta keep her away from them as well. They'll just be like, Eddie, I don't. Why are you going out with that slut? Why are you going out with that bitch? Like, what the fuck, Eddie? It's one of those scenarios. You don't fucking introduce the hot girl to your female friends, and obviously, if you introduce her to your boys, there's gonna be the one motherfucker that's gonna try to hook up with her as well, and everyone else is gonna be like, damn, bro, yo, so how's it like, man? What's your deal? Like, it's always like that. That's the hot girl, and then there's the beautiful girl, and the beautiful girl is you introduce her to mom, and your mom is just flabbergasted. Like your mom just does not know what to say. She's just like, wow. Your female friends are all intimidated by her. Like they like her, but they don't say it because they're also, left like just speechless, and like they're like, wow. Like they'll respect her and they'll accept her, but they're not friendly with her, and it's kind of some weird intimidation kind of thing. But yeah, I've seen that, and your guy friends are also very like all of a sudden your guy friends are very like respectful of girls when she's around. Like, hey, hey, so and so, how are you? Like, oh, ha ha ha. Like, they'll they won't even like they won't bring it up to you, but they'll bring it up amongst each other. Like, damn, I can't believe Eddie's going out with that girl. I can't like shit like that. So those are three levels of attractiveness. Not that one's better than the other. Might I add? Like, it's great to go out with a cute girl. It's great to go out with a hot girl. It's great to go out with a beautiful girl. And not only that, sometimes a cute girl could be a hot girl. Sometimes a hot girl could be a cute girl. A beautiful girl could be both. Like it's it. But for the most part, I kind of stereotype each one into one to three. If you're attractive, and so these two girls are just beautiful, just drop dead gorgeous. They walk in, and they walk by the Russian dude and myself, and they wave hi. And so I go to the Russian dude, and they wave hi and they keep walking by. And I go to the Russian dude. Hey, go talk to your friends, man. Like, they just waved hi. What are you doing here with me? And he's like, I don't know them. And I'm like, well, they waved at us. He's like, yeah, but I don't know them. I thought you knew them. I'm like, no, I've never met them before. I've never seen them before. He's like, oh, okay. So he's kind of wondering what's going on, and he just keeps looking. And the girls are kind of like, they go to like the end of the bar, and just every guy that's at the club, every lost soul that's walking around that club ends up passing by these girls and tries to hit on them. And each guy just gets shot down immediately by these girls. These girls just put their hands on on the guys' faces, or like, like the talk to the hand kind of thing, or just tell them not interested or whatever. Like, they're just rejecting guys, like swiping left on Tinder, like just flop flop flop, like just getting rid of all of them. And we're like, and so the Russian dude's like, man, I can't go up to those girls. Like, look, like they're turning down every guy. And I'm like, well, they waved hi to us for a reason. I'm sure they want to talk to you. The guy's like, no, I don't know. And he kind of leaves to the bathroom. So it's just me there by the bar while everyone else is at the table drinking and whatever. And I'm like I said, I want to give space to my ex, and I really don't want to get into an argument. So I just knew to kind of be just hanging there by the bar. And sure enough, the two girls come up to me. They're like, hey, how are you? And I'm like, hey. And they introduce themselves. The one that I was talking to, her name was Olya, from Russia, St. Petersburg. Just like, she had just gotten into town that same night. Her first time in the United States. She wanted to go out with her friend for, to experience, going out. But it was a weeknight and there wasn't much to do, and so she's asking me like, what's there to do? And there I am recommending her some spots she could check out. There's, for instance, at night there's like a ladies' night at this other like Western themed bar in town. If not, there's like this underground European kind of scene, where all the Euro kids hung out, like this bar that's underground that I told her she needs to check out as well. Maybe there's some people out there, even though it's a weeknight. So I'm just giving her some advices on places to check out, and she appreciated it. And she's like, oh, do you want to come and dance? And I told her, no, look, I'm here with my girlfriend. I appreciate it, but no. Either way, have a good night, and I hope you enjoy your stay in the States, whatever. So she goes, she's dancing. She ends up she climbs up on stage to dance, like with her friend. They're dancing seductively. All eyes are on them. And the Russian dude shows up. He's like, dude, I saw you talking to the girls. What were they saying? I'm like, look, I just told them, a couple of places they can come check out in Key West, and that I'm sure, to enjoy themselves or whatever. Girls dance for like 2 songs on stage, and then they get down, and the Olia comes up to me and tells me, hey, Eddie, it was nice meeting you. We're going over to that other bar you recommended. Why don't you come with us? And I go, like I said, I'm here with my girlfriend. No, I'm sorry. I'm not gonna go with you. And she just was really trying to get me to go. She's like, come on, come on. It'll be fun. You won't regret it. And I told her, no, sorry. And I know you're hearing this story. And I know, like, let me get this straight. I'm not like some dude that could just go anywhere and I have girls coming up to me all the time. But this was the weirdest and rarest night ever. It's one of these scenarios which I know every guy's been in, but when you're a single dude, shit like this does not happen to you. You're just basically, you have to go through it's like through so much hurdles to go ahead and like pick up girls, and making sure they're right, like going through this sort of like gauntlet, if you will, of like figuring out, is this girl cool or not? Okay, she's cool. All right, let's move on to the next level. Is she interested in going out? All right, she's interested in going out. All right, so now let's do, like, it's a whole mission and a half that you got to go through, a process you have to go through when meeting girls. And then when you're in a relationship and you go out, girls just come up to you like fucking, like they realize that you're in a relationship, and they're like, oh, this guy's taken. He must be taken for a reason. Let me find out what it is. Oh wait, I want that in my life. I want this guy now. Somehow it. I don't know how they figure that out. I don't know what gives off the attitude, without me saying it, of course. But what gives out that attitude beforehand that makes them? Because like I said, that shit only happens to you when you're in a relationship. And that's even before you say it. Like, girls just come up to you, and it's like, well, fuck. All right. Like, where were you when I was single? Like, what the fuck? So yeah, so I'm turning down this girl, and she's like, oh, well, you're gonna miss out, but I'm sure I'll see you around town. Have a good night. And they take off to one of the bars. So now I look, it's already probably, it's kind of late, and I just can't go on anymore. I want to go home. So I go to the table, and everyone's at the table except my ex. So I asked the birthday girl, hey, where's Joanna? She's like, oh, she's in the bathroom. I'm like, all right. 5 minutes pass, she still hasn't like shown up. So I asked the birthday girl, can she go check in the bathroom for her and make sure she's all right? So she goes to the bathroom, checks. She's like, comes back. She's like, she's not there. I'm like, fuck. All right. So now I'm trying to call her. She ain't picking up her cell phone. And so now I'm like, fuck. All right. I start leaving the club, and like I said, the second story is the club. Downstairs there's like a bar. I go downstairs. Sure enough, she's there at the bar, and there's some dude buying her a drink. And so I go up to her and I just tell her, like, just pissed, just like, I see how it is. I'm going home. Have a good night. And I just storm off. And she just like drops the drink, just comes storming at me, and she's like, I saw you talking to those girls. I saw what you were doing. And I'm like, all I told them was I recommended a few spots they could check out. That was it. No, but you were probably saying this and doing that. I'm like, no, I wasn't. Like it became the argument of the year that was happening on Duval Street on like a Wednesday night, like at 2:00 in the morning or 1:00 in the morning. Just yelling, it was horrible. right there in the middle of the Wall Street. People are walking by. We're giving them entertainment. I should have just fucking dropped a hat on the floor and had people just throw in change in there, and I would have probably, paid rent with that. That's how good the show was. And yeah, and at one point, this is the one thing that sticks out of this whole fucking argument. We're arguing there, in the middle of the Wall Street, and this couple that I know, uh, walks by, and they're like, "Hey, what's up, guys? How are you?" And I'm like, in the middle of an argument, like in the middle, as tense as the argument's getting, and this couple go, "Hey, what's up, guys? How are you?" And I'm like, "Hey," and I'm just continuing the argument, and then he's like, "Hey, guys, so what are you guys up to?" And it's like, we're in a discussion right now. Listen, I'm heading home. Do you guys want to split a cab? Because we kind of all live close by. Do you guys want to split a cab? And I'm like, guy, I'm in a fucking argument right now. Like, what's your fucking problem, man? Don't you see that? Oh, man, I didn't realize that. Yeah. Listen, no, but man, we can split a cab, man. I'm kind of short on money. Like, you'd be helping us out a lot. Like, if we could just split a cab. I'm like, dude, like, imagine you're in an argument. Not only that, but now you're gonna split a cab with this couple and still be in an argument in the fucking cab, because that's what ended up happening anyways. And you got these two people, just bystanders, there in the middle of it, and I don't know what the fuck he was on, but how they didn't realize that we're in an argument was fucking, like, beyond me. I never figured that out. And I just told dude, like, guy, listen, there's people we know still upstairs at the club. Go ask them. I'm sure someone will swing again. We'll drop you off or something. Oh, cool, man. Thanks for the heads up. So they take off into the club, and it's just basically we pick up where we left off arguing. Like if that never happened, and yeah, it was just a bad night, and whatevs. Then I run into Olia twice from then on out. The next time I run into her is the next day. I'm at work. Or no, I passed by work just to see what's up. I was kind of, I'd slept all day, and then I just wanted to pass by, maybe thinking of going on the jet ski or something. And I pass by, and sure enough, she's at the marina as well. And I didn't realize who it was, because all my coworkers at the marina were like, "Man, there's this really cute girl down by by the Fury souvenir shop. Check her out, man. She's really hot. Like, just pass by there. Like, she's just some girl. Like, none of us have ever seen her." And they're all trying to get her to, like, come for free on the jet skis and shit like that. So I take a peek, and I'm like, "Oh, I know her. Come here, guys. I'll introduce you to her." So I kind of introduced her to guys, but she was looking for interviews for, like, work. And so she really couldn't talk much, but a really nice girl, real friendly, and everyone was like, "Man, how do you know?" Like, everyone was just freaking out on how this girl looked. And then I hadn't seen her from that day. I hadn't seen her for like a good 6 months, let's say. And I say around that time because, surprisingly or not, with my baby mama, with Joanna, it was like an on and off relationship. Like, there was times where we were off and we were on, and we were off and we were on, and this was one of those moments where we were off. And I remember I go out with my friends. I end up going to the strip club, and we're there at the strip club in Key West, and just standing there, and then all of a sudden I just hear, just over the music, over everybody just talking and shit, like, I just hear, "Oh my God, Eddie!" And this just girl in a bikini comes running up to me and just jumps on top of me, and it was Olia, and she's like, "Oh my God, Eddie, how are you?" Blah blah. Like she was just like, this girl was already beautiful and just regular jeans and just the shirt, So seeing her in a bikini, and then later in the lingerie, and then later naked, is just like mind blowing. And so we're talking there. She's like, yeah, I kind of worked a couple of jobs, but nothing was really for me. And then, I had a friend who was working here, and she told me to try it out, and I'm loving it. I'm making good money, and it's a great time. But I don't really have time to like go out, so I haven't been doing much. I was hoping I'd run into you from time to time, and here you are, and this and that. So we met up later on that night. I had a great time with her. She was a really cool chick, and yeah, at that time we did hook up, and just amazing. And from there on, like a couple weeks later on, I had ended up getting back with Joanna, and I kind of moved on, and I hadn't heard from Olia, and Olia was planning to move up to Miami anyways, and I never kept in touch with her. But it was like that. One of the reasons why I love Russian women is because of this girl, and it's that she happened to be a stripper. Like, I don't have a bad picture of strippers, because there's, you might consider there's people that might consider a stripper to be a slut or a whore or whatever, and that's totally not the case. Like, it's just a job, and the job should not define you into something that's negative. And she was just great energy, like just a good person, and she was banking. Like, you can't blame her, and she was having fun. So good for her. Another stripper story I remember. This is back in Miami. Was one of my favorite strip clubs, as everyone knows, is Tootsie's. But not like, there is a Tootsie's now, but it's not the Tootsie's that I know. The Tootsie's now is this big warehouse. It has like 400 strippers there. It's like 6 different like rooms. It's nonsense. It's just, I'm not into it, because there's no nothing. It just feels like it's really annoying. I preferred the old Tootsie's, which was smaller, but by it being smaller, you got to experience the strip club better, and you got to see all the strippers. You got to interact with most of the strippers. You actually, and it kind of gave a vibe where you could actually, like, I'd make friends at the strip club. Like, I'd make friends with the dude sitting next to me, and stuff like that. Like, that's how much fun I'd have at strip clubs. And Tootsie's was my favorite. And the old Tootsie's used to be in like a shopping plaza, which had like a billiard room. It had like a billiards place next to it, and it had like an auto Pep Boys or something. But no one was going to that fucking shopping plaza for anything else other than fucking Tootsie's. And I remember Tootsie's. I remember one night I'm there with one of my friends, Alex, and Alex disappeared. I remember I was in the back talking to like one of the managers that I was friends with, and when I get back outside, like to the main area, I see Alex isn't around anymore. So I go back to the table where I was sitting at. Alex comes back after 2 songs, so obviously he went to go get a lap dance. And he comes back and he's like, "Dude, you gotta meet the girl that I got a lap dance from." And I'm like, "Why is that?" "You'll get along with her. I have a feeling you'll get along with her." And I'm like, "All right, well, what in particular?" "No, because she wants to study film, and she wants to become a screenwriter, and I told her how you wanted to do the same, and she's Brazilian, and at the time I had a thing for Brazilians, so I was like, oh great, point her to me. I'll go, I'll go talk to her now. So sure enough, Alex points me out to her. I go up to her, start talking to her. Sure enough, we're hitting it off. She's got to go on stage or whatever, and I was really in the mood to like leave at this point. But we go ahead, we exchange phone numbers, and that was that. So, like a week later, I call her up. We make plans to hang out, and we're gonna go to a night. No, yeah, we're gonna go to a nightclub. So I tell her to bring out a friend. So because it's always hard to like when it's a first date. I get it. You can go out with on a first date with a girl. But when it's like you really in a scenario like this where you just want to go like take her out and hang out, it's better off to make sure she brings along a friend, and then like it makes things just easier and comfortable and whatever. And I make sure I bring out a friend. So everyone's Alex was like, oh, it's going on with this hot Brazilian stripper, like everyone's and I think he's gonna go out with her on like this motherfucker just like blabbered out to everyone that I'm going out with this chick on Saturday night, so everyone's got to be there because she's bringing along a friend, and the friend's probably like everyone was expecting me to like hook them up with this girl, and I'm like, there's only one dude there's only one dude that I respect as a wingman, and that was my boy Lewis, and I'm like, all right, Lewis, you're coming with me. She's bringing a friend. I'm sure you'll love the friend. I've yet to see her myself, but just be my wingman for me. Lewis always solid. So he's like, for sure. He ended up, the girl ended up being this girl Michelle, which I talked about in other episodes, and they ended up dating for like a year and a half, 2 years, I think. So it kind of worked out for them, and but that night he was the best wingman there was, and I'm with this chick, and I remember we meet at the club. I tell her to meet us up at the club, and I'm at the club, and like she hits me up, and she's like, "Listen, I'm at the club, but I don't know where I'm at." And I'm like, "Okay. I mean, it's not that big of a place, so I'll start walking around. I'll see if I can find you." I walk around everywhere. I'm like, "Look, I can't find you. I don't know where you could be." She's like, "No, I don't know where I'm. There's just like a line." I'm like, "So are you outside?" I take a peek outside. She's not outside. So I'm like, "Where the fuck could she be?" I find out that she's sitting in a chair inside the women's bathroom. She was on ecstasy, so she had no clue where the fuck she was at. And I'm just like, I'm realizing what's ahead of, that this night's just gonna be a headache now. Like, why on a first date or meeting up with someone, why would you want to be on ecstasy at least this early? Like, wouldn't you want to like kind of talk first and hang out and then maybe get into that if you're gonna do that? But no, she was on ecstasy and she was lost in the women's bathroom, sitting on the chair where the cleaning lady sits. She basically sat there and is just calling me and asking me where I'm at or whatever. I figure that out. I find out that she's in there. I get one of my female friends to go ahead and get her and bring her out. So I take her out. I take her out to the patio. I put her in a chair there. I start buying her water, and her friend Michelle, just also she arrived separately, and I think Michelle was also was also rolling, but she was a little more used to it. Let's just say, like she knew how to handle herself. So now Lewis and I are looking at each other like, fuck, man. So, like, what do we do here? Like, I know the obvious dude would just be like, oh man, you're gonna have fun, like, dude, the roll. But I've always had this thing, and Lewis is solid as well on my way of thinking that, like, you kind of don't want to take advantage of these girls. Obviously, you don't want to take advantage of these girls, but you kind of feel like you are if they're rolling and you're not. So we were like, well, let's just kind of figure out what to do with these girls. Like, why don't we take them out to eat somewhere? So we decided to do that. So we all hop into a car and we head over to um this like this taco place. We eat some tacos, um, and that kind of helped out. Michelle wasn't as high or as on on it. The other girl though, my girl, was just lost. Like she was just in another world, and she's telling us about the cosmos and the stars and shit like that, and it's pretty annoying hearing about it. Just annoying, because it's just like, uh-huh, oh really, that's that constellation, huh? And that constellation reminds you of what? Oh really? And it's talking to you? Oh, superb. What's it telling you? Oh, you don't understand? Oh, okay. Keep at it though. Maybe you'll decipher what the fucking constellation's telling you. So Lewis is like, well, we can just go back to my place. We'll watch some movies, And this wasn't like the kind of line that you say, we're coming over to my house, we'll watch some movies, and we're not going to watch movies. No, we went to actually watch movies. So we go over, and he's looking through his DVDs to pick. Uh, of They ended up. What the fuck did Lewis choose? Lewis chose his favorite. Oh, he chose like a live in concert DVD or some bullshit like that. That he put on, thinking like it would help their experience or whatever, just to be more mellow. Fucking dumbass Lewis. And we're watching the movie there in his living room, and what, like, just we can realize like, no, we need to take these girls home. Like they're just somewhere else. They're not really here. So uh and what sucked was we're like in Hialeah at this time in Dade County, and the Brazilian chick lived like in like somewhere in Broward, like close to Fort Lauderdale, kind of Broward, past Hollywood. And we we're like, it's a mission, but Lewis is like, no, we'll take him home, and we'll be fine. We leave his house. We're getting into his car, and before she gets into the car, she's like, "Oh my God, look at the kitten!" And she goes and she runs up to a cat that's on the street that got runned over, and she's just basically petting a dead cat, a dead smushed cat in the middle of the road, and she's just petting it. She's like, "Oh my God, oh my God," and that's all she kept saying while petting it. And we're all looking at her, like even Michelle, who was rolling, was just looking at her like, "Damn, I'm not that fucked up." And I'm just like, after that, I'm like, like, I don't really want to like talk to this girl anymore. And Lewis is like, I don't blame you. We'll just drop her off, and that's the last we'll have to see of her. So Lewis steps on the gas. We make sure she gets home, and Michelle even apologizes, like, look, we shouldn't have rolled. I'm sorry. It's just we hadn't gone out in a while, and we thought it'd be fun, and we thought it would make meeting you guys, even better. And yeah, it wasn't. It just wasn't. Um, so suffice to say, I didn't even bother calling that girl ever again. Um, and from what I heard, Michelle even kind of stopped hanging out with her after that, because the girl was getting into like spacey kind of like cultish kind of things from what she was saying, and she just wanted nothing to do with like the people she was hanging out with and stuff. So I hope she's all right, whatever ever happened to her. But yeah, she was a little out there. Um, yeah. So that's another one, you know. But it's I love strippers. I love strippers. I love who they are. They're usually fun people. To be a stripper, you gotta have energy. You gotta have fun. You gotta know how to dance. And you just gotta know how to like talk to people. Um, I remember there's this one stripper in Tootsie's, and I never knew her name. Never knew her name, but we would call her the devil because she was very attractive. Uh she was from Romania. Very attractive girl. Very attractive. But she hardly would dance. That's one thing. This is one stripper that would hardly dance. She kind of would just move very slowly and provocative, and she would be able to go up to your table. And when you're at a strip club, what happens? Let me, for those who have never been to like a good American strip club, they'll come up to you and they'll ask, if they just finished performing, they'll come and ask you for, oh, can I get a tip for my dance? Or they'll sit down with you, and if you come up to me and the first thing out of your mouth is, can I get a tip for my dance? I'm gonna say no. I want the girl who comes up to the table and is like, hey, how are you? Nice to meet you. Give me a little bit of talk. But if you come straight up to me and asking me for money, like if I liked what you were doing on stage, I would have thrown, a couple dollars while you were dancing up on the stage. If I didn't, coming up to me and asking me for money ain't gonna work. So, I never liked that. But if you come up to me, you talk, you sit down, I'll buy you a beer, I'll buy you a drink, have a little bit of small talk, and that's cool. But this chick would go up to your table, she would grab you, and she would be like, you're coming with me. We're going, you're giving, I'm giving you a lap dance. And she'll take you to the lap dance area, and you would not be seen again until like 3 or 4 songs later. And the lap dance room is just what you'd expect a lap dance room to be. You're just sitting there in a room. Sometimes it's a booth, sometimes it's just a chair, sometimes it's just like a bench. So it depends. Sometimes it's just like the back side of the club, but you're just sitting there and the girl's basically just dancing on you, grinding, dry humping, like just that's basically it. There's no sort of like, you still really can't touch the girl. You really technically aren't supposed to be making out with the girl. But it depends. If the girl likes you, she might kiss you. If the girl, she might kiss you, she might let you touch her. They're not supposed to, but then again, most of these girls know, like, oh, this is where the camera's at, so I know I can sit here and I won't get in trouble. Like, it's a very interesting kind of scenario. But this girl, the devil, man, she'd take you back there, and she just basically would just stand in front of you naked for a good 3 or 4 songs, and just have you just like look at her. And she wouldn't be very. She was a waste of time and money if you think about strippers and lap dances, and yet she'd always get you. She'd always get you because that's just how gorgeous this woman was. So enough, like, she was pretty popular at the club, and she ended up owning like 3 like boutique clothing stores around South Florida. She was banking on that. She would just do this when, like, she, for extra money. And she ended up showing up. I remember I'm watching Fast and Furious 2, and she's in that movie, like in as an extra. There's a scene where they're in the club, Nikki Beach, and like they're meeting up with like the drug dealer and stuff like that. And if you notice in the background, there's this chick who just keeps in every scene that's in the club scene, she just happens to be in the background. This chick with like long dark hair, just gorgeous girl, and she just keeps popping up on scene. So all my friends and I are like, "Fuck, man, the devil's everywhere," and that was like our inside joke. But yeah, there's all kinds of strippers, and it's all fun, and I miss that. I miss that a lot because, mind you, there are quote unquote strip clubs here in Argentina, in Buenos Aires, but they're not really strip clubs, they're whorehouses, for the most part, and I appreciate it. The mayor here closed down most of them. Uh, there's, I think, only two that are still around, which are the staple famous strip clubs in town. Uh, One of them, weirdly enough, is right in front of the children's hospital. Like, just the weirdest location to have one. Like, I know back in the States, you can't have a strip club like 500 yards from a any school or any just like park or nonsense like that. So to have one of the most popular strip clubs in the city be right in front of the children's hospital is ridiculous. But strip clubs for here for the most part. And I've only gone like I think 3-4 times, each time disappointed because it's just they all happen to be the same thing. Here it's like you pay for the entrance, and it's like the entrance could be anywhere between $200 to 200 pesos to 150 pesos, which is pretty expensive, if you're dealing with RG money. And with it though, you get 2 drinks, and it could be anything. It could be anything from a bottle of water to, you know, uh, Jack on the Rocks. Like it could be anything you want. You'll get it with your 2 free drink tickets. And so you get your drink, and as soon as you walk in, you'll see how everything's lined up, and you have like maybe 4 or 5 girls dancing, like on a stage, but those are the only 4 or 5 girls that are allowed to dance on the stage. Then there's like around 30 to 40 other girls that are just walking around, all sitting together and waiting for guys to show up, and they'll just, as soon as you show up, they'll just jump on you. Like they'll just, hey, what's up? What do you want? Blah blah. And it's annoying because it's like you can't even step 1 foot in without already being just like surrounded by girls. Which it sounds, oh, look at what you're complaining about, you douche. But no, it's really annoying. You kind of want to like sit down first, have your drink, and then maybe someone come up to you, but not like as soon as you step in, they all attack. So you sit down. If you finally make it through the horde of strippers, you sit down. Sure enough, strippers are going to come to where you're sitting, and they'll ask you straight up if you can buy them a drink. You can say no, but the first thing all of them do is they come up to you and they say if you can buy them a drink. Reason being is if you buy them a drink, then they're allowed to talk to you. So it's like, I guess a down payment or something. Like they're not allowed to talk to a customer until the customer buys them a drink. So you buy them a drink, and you're like, oh, okay, what do you want? Well, I just want a bottle of water. Okay, so you order a bottle of water. Comes back, and the waitress or the waiter tells you, all right, that's like 150 pesos, and you're like, whoa, that's a very expensive bottle of water. And it's like, well, the girl can order whatever she wants, but just like my entrance, I can get whatever I want with my free drink ticket. You can buy the girl whatever she wants. It'll all come out to 150 pesos. If the girl wants a glass of champagne, it'll be 150 pesos. If the girl wants a bottle of water, it's 150 pesos. If she wants a Diet Coke, it's 150 pesos. That's just it. So that it makes it sound like it is a down payment, or like the I don't know, the ticket to talk to her or whatever. So you go ahead, you pay for that. She'll talk to you, and then basically you could have some small talk, but then basically it's like they just start offering sex, and that's just like, it's not fun. It feels, it just feels sleazy and scummy, and I just don't like it. It just feels wrong. It's not my scene. It's not. And now, it completely makes sense why the mayor went and closed down most of these places, because they're not strip clubs. They're not. The idea of a good American strip club is not down here, and that's what sucks. I don't know if it would work down here, mind you. It'd be nice to see it try, and if someone knew how to do it. But because the mentality of a strip club is already a whorehouse, and that's what has always been going on, I think it'd be hard to get people out of that mentality down here. But it'd be nice to kind of have a strip club kind of theme down here. I definitely miss it. So to my friends in the States, please enjoy what you have there, because not the rest of the world doesn't have that. All right. I think I went a little too much into this, but I appreciate you hearing me out. Let's wrap this one up, but I'll go ahead and try to make a new one sometime soon. And to that, I bid ye farewell. Thanks for listening. Take care.